Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to my first Minecraft house. My name is Star and I'm going to be your host for this evening. I created this house in Minecraft Alpha way back in 2011, so excuse the lack of textures. We didn't have much to work with, just cobblestone and wood. I'm going to give you a little tour of my town, but not all of it because that would just be boring. As you can see, the entire ground is just made with cobblestone, just like everything else. This used to be a mountain that was kind of big, and it took me 3 weeks to take down. So we've got my house first, which is nothing more than a cobblestone box with windows. Over here, there was the warehouse. This was the second building built, and it used to be full of chests, but there was a bug in one of the updates, and half my chest disappeared. I think you'll find that some of the doors were also damaged. And then we've got these trees, which were the only ones we had. So if it's made of wood, it's probably using the oak slabs, which at the time was just called wood. Over this part, this took me a while, but this is my Stargate, and did I see a fish in my Stargate? Yep, I've got fish in my Stargate. That's kind of cool. The world has been through a few updates, so you're going to see some things that were from the alpha. You will see some things from alpha, and you'll see some things from a little bit later on. Again, this is my textiles company, and all my chests have gone. Of course, there isn't much because, well, to get wool, you had to kill the sheep. So you won't even see any farms in this area. Food wasn't an issue. We didn't have the health bar, we didn't have the... No, correction, we had the health bar. We didn't have food bar, and we didn't have experience. So there really wasn't that much to do. It was just mining and building, and a few monsters to kill. And this on the floor was my first ever pixel art. Kind of sad now you think about it. And my little mansion. I say little. Nowadays it's little. 3 dogs because why not? And we couldn't change the textures of the collar, so they started off red and now they're orange. Another thing you won't find in the map is furniture. We didn't have that much, and I've got a bed somewhere. Yep, here's my bedroom. Just a bed, bookcases, pictures, and a desk. Stepping through, that's just a treasure, it's empty. I've got something to show you in here. This will be fun. This was my first ever attempt at redstone, and the idea was there was a chest full of diamonds in here in gold, and you step in this pressure plate and be shot by arrows from the dispensers. But well, my skills at redstone were rather limited, and well, this is obviously not going to work. I've got to get out here. Now, I remember this glass because it was snowing all the time, and it would just cover the big the big pixel art, so that was the only way to prevent it from being under snow all the time. Now, yeah, okay, so I went a bit extravagant with this one. Remember, these were all mined individually, so it's just a complete waste of diamonds. I had diamond tools, so I thought I'd get a big diamond batolith. Because I was into Klingons back then, not anymore. I'm just going to take this quick way down. And this is my railway. And it used to work. We used to have to use booster rails, and then it changed, so we built this. And apparently it's dark enough somewhere to have monsters. And if I come back here, now I will say this, I've been getting some serious lag spikes, so sorry about that. The world is corrupt. It went through several changes. Look, this is our first birch trees, and they used to be called birch. No, they used to be called beech. And the trees in the back were pine. And when we crafted them down to planks, we end up with what we call nowadays oak. Up here's my library. This was the only purpose that we had for the bookcase. It didn't have anything. It was just decoration. We didn't have enchanted tables, so it wouldn't have worked here. Because we just didn't know how to do it. That came a few updates later. When the wool block was brought out, I just had to do a psychedelic carpet. It does look kind of ugly. And this is, well, as you can see, it's iron blocks, so that was a lot of mining that we did here. I do say we because it did go into a multiplayer eventually. There were a few things built that I didn't do. I didn't do the waterfall, which is behind the lag spike. And there's a mushroom farm. And up here we've got the bank, I believe. It's been a while since I've been in this world. Yep, here's the bank. This is it. This is the entire bank. We've got down the vault down the stairs. And that was my first successful restoring. Just putting a pressure plate in front of the door. And ceiling's far too low. Smack my face off them going downstairs. There used to be a diamond block here, like the trap upstairs, where I just couldn't get these to work. I wanted to do a bird switch, but I could never figure out how to do a bird switch. At least until after this map was abandoned. Over here, this little building. This was the first time I used two different materials for one building. Considering what I can do with them now, that's kind of sad. Oh, and by the way, yes, the broken doors. They used to be flushed together, and that one used to be a full door. Through this one we have our electronics factory, and I built this so that I could teach myself how to do redstone. By the time this map finished, I still didn't have a clue. Standard gates, all of them. every single gate that was available at the time, including this one. This one is, you might recognise this, it's a repeater. And the way we did it, it was switch, block, torch, redstone, block, torch, redstone. And it still works. It's not as sophisticated as the little one you see here. But yep, that still works. Our redstone used to be enormous. This is the bakery. And we used to have cakes up here. Cakes were new when we built this. It was my best friend at the time. And she had everything. But as you can see again, all the chests have gone. Over this one, we've got the most indulgent build in the map. Umpteen dozen iron ores were mined for this. And can I get through here? Thank you. Our spaceport. And it's so dark that monsters could spawn, so we tended not to come in here very often. And there's nothing in it. We've got a cafe, staff room over there, and over there's a souvenir shop, which is just an empty room. The customs office is, well, that. Okay, through here we've got, well, let's not talk about that, thank you. These, I was impressed when I did these. It's just basically a 5 o'clock pulsar. I know that when we did move it to multiplayer, I changed all the circuitry underneath and I made it running lights. That was just after the repeaters were brought out, the new repeaters. And this is the pub. This was built by a friend of mine, and she called it the Burning Pig. And she did so because she couldn't figure out the fire tick. So she burned this building down 3 times while building it. And of course, I built a volcano. And yep, I know what you're thinking. This volcano sucks. And it does. It really does. I couldn't make it too big because it would just overtake the map, and I just wasn't very good then. It's a creeper. I have a creeper in my creeper. Now you see there's a big hole in the bottom. I was. Did you saw creeper being born? This has history. I was going to fill this full of TNT, and I came over with a handful of TNT, made a hole in the bottom so I could get up there. Heard a hiss, turned around and blew up. And it suddenly occurred to me that I probably shouldn't put TNT inside there, because if it blows up again, this would just be a big hole. Now approaching the city of Mola the Tyrant. This was the history of our map. After we put it on multiplayer, we decided to make it a story. Defeated by citizens of Kronos in 2011. Yeah, somebody had a Klingon thing. Return from whence you came. Go back. He really wasn't very nice. He consorted with monsters. Don't say you weren't warned. You're dead, mate. This building took a week for 3 people to design and build, and it was completely redstone, so these doors actually worked in unison. And after we built it, we took a step back, lined it with TNT, and we blew giant holes in it. More broken doors. The reason we abandoned it was because when they updated it, they added some new ores, and we realised that we'd explored so much that we would never find those ores. So we just abandoned the world and we moved into a new one. In the new one, I actually managed to learn a little bit more about redstone, and I was the one who built all the mega farms. I still can't do redstone that well, but I'm a lot better than I used to be. So you might be wondering, why is she showing us all this? Well, I played Minecraft for a long time, and I always wanted to share this with other people. But I've not been able to do that for so long that Minecraft just became really boring. And I gave up. There's only so much you could do for yourself. Even my farming techniques now, they just don't work for one person. However, there have been a few updates. I've missed quite a few of them. I've missed the last update I saw was 1.10, maybe 1.11. So I've missed the aquatic. I've missed most of the new mobs. I know there are phantoms somewhere. I know some things about them, but well, for that one, for example, I don't even know what it's called, or what it does, or how hard it hits. The only ones I really know are the skeletons, creepers, zombies. The phantoms I've heard of, but never actually had any dealings with. The turtles I've never seen, and the drowned didn't exist back in my day. I was looking at some of the updates recently when I thought I'd have a quick peek and see what's going on. And I thought, I want to try this out again. I want to make a comeback. And this time I want to share it. Shut up, cat. So I'm making a comeback. So if you like what you've seen and think you might want to join me on my journey to learn the new stuff, feel free to... What was that? I've got a dolphin. Up and go up on land. Yay, safe again. He's so cute. Anyway, if you like what you've seen and think you might want to join me in my journey to learn what's new, probably see me panicking when I see something that I've never seen before, feel free to leave a comment, like my channel, or like my video and subscribe to my channel, and I'll be happy to take you along.